Hi, I'm Jasponica Florence Moore. I'm the president of Phoenix City, Russell County Local Unit 5050 of the NAACP. It is a pleasure to welcome you to a political forum where you'll get the opportunity to hear from our candidates that are seeking positions within our city as well as our county. It's important for you to realize that the NAACP is a nonpartisan organization. We are here to support voter registration, voter mobilization, and voter education. Take an opportunity to listen and learn. Please also remember that your vote is your voice. Keep in mind that your participation in the U.S. Census 2020 is very crucial. It impacts our schools, both Phoenix City and Russell County school districts. It impacts the seats that are held by all of the constituencies in our district and in our city. Please complete your census. You have until October to do so. It can be done online or using the paper version.
Well, hello, I am Dr. Janet Goodwin, the Political Action Chair for the NAACP, and we're here to interview our candidates for the Board of Education, our historical first elected Board of Education. And we have here with us our first candidate. Would you state your name, your position, and the district you're a candidate for?
Good morning. I'd like to say good morning, and thank you, Dr. Goodwin, for this opportunity, and thank you, Phoenix City, for this opportunity. My name is Florence W. Bellamy, and I am a candidate for Phoenix City School Board member at large. Remember that, board member at large.
Okay, so at large means?
At large being the entire city. I want to represent the entire city regarding the placement on the Phoenix City School Board.
Okay, great. So now tell us why you've chosen to run for this position and your platform as a candidate. I understand that this position is not new to you, so why did you decide to run?
Well, that is a good question. Prior, I served on the Phoenix City School Board for 25 years. I started as a school board member in 1989 under Clifford Smith. Okay. So I have engaged and had relationships with many superintendents, and through many challenges and different crises, and also ascending from being the local board president to being the state president of the Alabama Association of School Boards. Okay. So I want to bring that experience to this time right now. Right now we're in unprecedented times. Our families and especially our students are just wondering what to do. I want to bring that stability, that calmness, that confidence that we're going to all be okay. We're going to all be okay if we work together.
Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. And what platform now are you running? What's your slogan? What's your,
Well, our slogan is vote for the one you know.
Okay.
You know the experience of Florence W. Bellamy. You know the leadership of Florence W. Bellamy. And you also know the dedication and heart of Florence W. Bellamy. So I bring that to the table. Florence hasn't left the game of serving people in Phoenix City, Russell County, Alabama. I just want to come back to the table.
Okay. Okay, now what kind of experience do you bring to the table as a board member that would benefit the students of Phoenix City? And I guess you've stated some of that, but just give us a little more as far as what you did as a board member, some decisions you made, maybe.
Good question. And in 25 years, not only at the board table, but also being an advocate for our local school system in Montgomery. Many of the policies and procedures they come from the federal government down to the state and then at the local board. Sometimes those things don't apply to certain local boards. For example, let's look at what we're dealing with today. Look at what we're dealing with today.
Yes.
Think about that.
Yes.
We've heard things last week, yesterday, and probably when we get home from this interview, things have changed. So the board members are advocates for the family and the communities they serve. And that's one of the experiences I have and that I bring to the table. I've done it on the national level in Washington, D.C. It's called Federal Network. I've done it on the state level before in Montgomery during Advocacy Week, and not just Advocacy Week. I mean, I have stood toe to toe with governors, to advocate on behalf of the students of Alabama, but also my local board.
Okay. Well, during your tenure as a board member, did you get an opportunity to go out to the schools and do a lot of participating with the schools and different activities and events?
It's interesting that you asked that, Dr. Goodwin, because it was one of my personal goals when I served on the board that every year, every school term, I made it my personal goal to go to my schools. And I say my schools because I'm a part of this community. Not because I had children in those schools, but I didn't go because I had children. I went to every school from Head Start, when we had a Head Start on the Phoenix City, all the way through Central High School. Read Across America. And during Read Across America, I didn't just go to my children's school. I went to any school that invited me. Any PTA, even though I was a part of PTA, I went to any school. Band festival. I even became the band festival chairperson.
Oh, okay.
That's a lot of work. And at the same time, I was a board member.
Yes.
And during the summertime, when they had summer school, some parents couldn't get off their job for enrichment classes or classes that students needed to have in order to go to the next level. I volunteered to transport those parents. You may not want to do that in today's time, but I did that when it was necessary for my community and for those students.
Okay, great. So now my last question to you is, how do you expect to continue to build relationships within the community?
You build relationships by being accessible. You build relationships by people knowing that your word matters. Your word should mean exactly what you say. For example, if Dr. Goodwin said, Florence, we need to work on this or that, and we have agreed on this or that, it shouldn't be necessary for you to call me or check up on me, because my word should matter to you, that I have committed to you. One thing I am is loyal, and that can be a negative and a positive. But when Florence Bellamy says she's going to do something, I'm firm. Times can change, we can flex it out, we can work it out, but when I give you my word, that's it.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming in and talking to us and to the audience.
Well, thank you, Phoenix City, again, and if you want me back on that board, you can do it for the entire city. I want to represent and be your board member at large for the Phoenix City Board of Education. Okay. And thank you, Dr. Goodwin.
Thank you. Our next candidate, we would like for you to state your name, your position, and the district that you're the candidate for.
Okay. Well, my name is Dr. Kendall Sumbry Tarver. I will be running for school board member at large in the Phoenix City School System.
Okay, great. Now tell us why you've chosen to run for this position and what your platform is.
Okay. I've chosen to run for this position because I am a recent product of Phoenix City School System with 8 years of experience. I do believe that with this experience, I can bring forth new, innovative ideas. My platform is I'm seeking for fair equality for all schools. I'm also seeking for student, teacher, and parent accountability, as well as academic success for all students, no matter their ethnicity, disability, or social economic background.
Okay, wonderful,
Yes,
awesome,
ma'am.
awesome. So what experience do you bring to the board that would benefit our students in Phoenix City School District?
Okay. Well, I have 8 years, as I was speaking of, 8 years of early childhood and elementary education experience. I've also driven the bus. I was a cheer coach, and I also act as a parent in the Phoenix City School System. I'm also open and willing to learn new things. I'm also willing to bring, again, new ideas to the board and just make things work out for the benefit of our students, in the midst of a pandemic. So I want to make sure that things are safe. So my qualifications is what will make me a great candidate for the the Phoenix City Board of Education.
Okay, so you've been with the students at kind of both levels, and
Yes, ma'am.
on the bus when you really see how they behave, and
Yes.
as well as at
That's
school.
right. As well as I also have experience at the collegiate level. I'm currently a college professor, so I can also reach the college level students.
Okay. Of course, that would reach some of our parents as
That's
well, our
right.
young parents.
That's right.
Okay, great. How do you expect to build relationships within the community?
I
as a board
expect to
member?
build relationships with the community through rapport, being myself, being down to earth, being approachable, making sure that I get out in their communities and let them know that I care about them. The biggest thing is parental support. Our parents are our students' biggest advocate. So if we have our parents to come in, then I'm sure that we have our students. I also spoke with an administrator who explained that education is like a triangle where you have the student at the peak of the triangle, you have the parent at the bottom of the triangle, as well as the teacher. So without all three of those members, you do not have a full functioning triangle or education shape. So my goal is to make sure that we have the parent, the teacher, as well as the student involved.
Okay. Now, do you plan on getting out into schools and visiting the different schools and
Most
activities?
definitely. Yes,
Okay.
most definitely. I do plan on getting out into the schools, going around to see what they do. I've been out of the school system for about a year, a little over a year, so I want to see the new things that are going on. Phoenix City has a wonderful school system, always great resources, always great technology being implemented. So I plan on going to the games as well as the events that our school system has.
Okay. Well, wonderful.
Yes,
Well,
ma'am.
thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you.
in to see us and to share your information with us.
Thank
and we
you.
look forward to seeing you on that board.
Yes, thank you so much for interviewing me.
Okay.
Okay.
And now we're joined by our next candidate. Would you state your name, your position, and the district that you're running for?
Absolutely. I'm Brady Baird, and I'm running for Phoenix City School Board, District 1, Seat 1.
Okay, great. Now tell us why you've chosen to run for this position and your platform as a candidate.
Well, first of all, it is a joy to have the opportunity to run. I'd really sat on the fence about whether or not this would be something I would do or if I would even consider it. Politics sometimes gives me the heebie-jeebies, and so I wasn't sure I wanted to get into this particular vein about how we do Phoenix City School Board, but so far it's been a pleasurable process. But my big motivation for coming in is I currently serve on the school board as an appointed member and have been there since 2016. And so this is an opportunity for me to continue in a place of service to my community in this particular way.
Okay. All right, and your platform is?
Yeah,
Brady?
so my major platform obviously is to keep moving forward. I'm the only school board candidate out of all of the current board members that's actually running for a seat, and so my major platform is we've had a lot of successes in the last few years or so, and we want to keep that momentum going. That doesn't mean that everything that we're doing has to stay, or that doesn't mean that we're not open to change and adaptability, but we certainly don't want to lose momentum where we've gained ground in places like graduation rates, increased ACT scores. Gosh, we've got $14 million on hand right now in the bank. We've done some really amazing things to move our students ahead, professional development for our teachers. Those are things that we don't want to lose, and I think that a vote for me is an opportunity to retain a piece of the successful parts of our current culture in order that we can continue to build for something in the future.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so you've already told us, I guess, what experience you bring to the board that would benefit the students of Phoenix City schools. And I'll just ask, are there other goals that you want to achieve that you all haven't worked on at this point?
Yeah, I think one of the positive things that the current board in the appointed system had is that everybody who's in that place is an at-large member, which is a good thing. And I think that our city council did a great job of picking people from all across the map within the city limits to serve in this capacity. But I do think that there's greater opportunities for us to build relationships across district lines, between families, and to do some things that really unify our community in a spirit of being a red devil. I think that's one cool thing that a school system gets to do and has the opportunity to do. It should be a rallying point for everybody in town that no matter who you are, no matter where you live, we can all rally behind our school system. Yeah.
Great. And how do you expect to build these relationships within the community?
Yeah, obviously you've got to be available. If you're not available to people, you can't build relationships. And relationships are the foundational piece of our very human existence. As much as we love to talk about politics in national ways and from the top down, what we're really talking about is one-to-one relationships, and that's person to person. And as we work on those things, being friends with each other, being good neighbors with each other, those things are what pay dividends in larger group settings. And I think that our school system has opportunities to continue to be present in different ways beyond just representation, but to be actively involved in the community so that the community learns to trust the school system, take ownership of the school system, and as well see that these children and their raising and their education is everybody's responsibility. When you moved to Phoenix City, you joined the team of Phoenix City, and these are your kids, and they are our future generations. And if we don't do our best to make sure that we prepare a future for them to be successful in, then we've done them a great disservice.
Okay, and I'm going to ask you one last question. If the genie gave you one wish, okay, and you wanted to wish for something that would make the community and the board have a better relationship, what do you think that would be?
I think better relationship with the community, I think is what you're asking me. Mm-hmm. I think ultimately, if I had one wish and we had that one genie, I'm thinking out loud now is what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. We want to have more opportunities where parents and community members felt comfortable attending board meetings, being present, asking questions, not being afraid to get, that somebody's going to beat you up if you ask the wrong question. We want that comfortableness between the two places of the system, the organization. Phoenix City Schools employs over 800 people. It's the largest employer in the city. Mm-hmm. It's a huge machine. Yeah. And that can be intimidating for parents who, want to engage, aren't sure how to engage. We want to create easy inroads so that you can show up, ask questions, develop relationships with your teachers, and develop relationships with your board members. You should know who's serving on the board. You should know who's in places of authority within the organization so that you know one, who to hold accountable, and then two, that as we have ideas and as we have inspiration to do good things for our students, we need to be able to have safe places to have those conversations and people be comfortable to share, I think.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for your
Now, I do want to say this. If I had a second
okay.
wish,
okay.
it would be to eliminate poverty. The biggest thing that our students face and our community faces is poverty. And if we could eliminate that, if we could find a way to bring more jobs, more opportunities for our families, that would go a long way in lifting our students. And I do want to say, we win the economic battle by having a great school system. The way you attract families, the way you get people to move to your town is because you have the best school system for kids. And I think if Phoenix City continues to pursue being the best in our region, in the Chattahoochee Valley in East Alabama, if we can do that, then we're going to attract families, and that's going to attract businesses, and that's going to raise all of our economic standards here locally. So I think that's an opportunity that we have.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much for allowing us to talk to you this morning.
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. This is great.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and now we have with us, we would like for you to state your name, your position, and the district that you're a candidate for.
I'm Marilyn Brenne, and I'm running for District 1, Place 1 for the Phoenix City School Board. I am a retired educator, 35 plus years, and all of my life as a teacher, I always said, one day I would like to be on the school board, so this was my chance.
All right.
So I said, I'm going to run.
Okay, so I guess that kind of answered my second question, why you chose to run for the position, and what's your platform as a candidate?
Change. I feel like that the people should have someone that they can come to and voice their needs and what they're with their children, with their family, with what needs they feel like the school needs to improve. And I also feel like that there needs to be more openness in the school, with the school board and the school district. Sometimes decisions are made and it seems as if no one knows why they were made. There's no answers. So more transparency.
Okay. So that you experienced that as a teacher, and that's what one of the reasons that prompted you
Yes,
to run.
as a teacher, and then I became a guidance director and counselor. I headed some programs, and you know, a lot of times it was just a decision would come down, and why is this happening? No one would explain why. But I had a lot of parents, by being a counselor, that would come to me and say, why? And I said, I don't know why. You know, this is happening, and it was just, you know, I always said, if I have a chance, you know, I would like to be on a school board so I can help people to know what's going on.
Okay, great, awesome. So what experience do you bring to the board that you think would benefit the students of the Phoenix City School District?
Okay, the experience I have taught from first grade up until high school, and the last few years, not last 20 years of my school experience was as high school counselor. I understand disadvantaged students very, very well. I understand advanced students very well. I have been the head of programs and started a New Beginnings program when I was in Phoenix City, and that program was very successful. It's still going on, but I started the program, and we won. Not only did we win state awards, but we won a national award. We were first runner-up for the best program in the United States, and I was the best teacher. And I was missed it by 1/2 point by being the National Vocational Teacher of the Year.
Okay, and New Beginnings, what type of program is
New
that?
Beginnings was a program for students that became pregnant in the school system and that they needed to continue with their education rather than dropping out. And we helped them through this process, and if they decided they wanted to stay until they graduated, they could stay with us until they graduated. It was housed at the old St. Patrick's School program. We also had a program there where you could make up credits. I worked with credit makeup, and we did that through Central High School. There was a program there that I oversaw too.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So now, how do you expect to build relationships within the community?
But I want them to feel free to be able to come to call me, to, you know, anytime I make an appointment, I will see them somewhere, you know, whatever they would like. I like to meet them and talk to them. I want to know their needs because I know where they're coming from. And through the years, I've just heard so many people that want to, you know, give me some answers, you know, please help me. So, you know, this is why I want to do it. Transparency.
Okay. Do you plan on going out in the schools and visiting the schools?
Oh,
and
yes,
all that,
yes.
Get input from
In fact, I missed
teachers?
that.
Okay. Okay. So your experience, you say, is as an educator. Did you have children in the school district as well?
I had 3 stepchildren that were in the school district.
Okay.
School.
Okay. So you had to take
Stepchildren.
out that work hat and put on that mommy hat.
And then I had
sometime,
teachers
right?
that would, you know, as a teacher, I had teachers that would come to me when they had a problem with a student. They would come to me and say, you know, I'm having a problem with your child or stepchild. But it was good. I've always, you know, that's why I became a counselor after being a teacher, because I felt like I wanted to help people, a helping person.
Okay. Great.
And that's what I want to help the community and the kids and the parents and everyone in the area, that anyone who needs help.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for coming.
Okay, thank you
And,
for having me today.
Okay, and we enjoy speaking, and we look forward to
Okay.
seeing you on that board.
I appreciate you inviting me.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, our next guest, state your name, your position, and the district that you're a candidate for.
Yeah, so my name's Jonathan Taylor, and I'm running for District 1, Seat 2 for the Phoenix City Board of Education.
Okay. Now tell us why you've chosen to run for this position and your platform.
Well, I've chosen to run for this position because for the last 15, 16 years, I've been involved with the school. I've been chaplain of the football team and worked some with the softball team. I've substituted for years at the school and been involved. And I'm a pastor of a church in the community, so I'm community invested. Both of my kids are in the school system. I grew up in the school system in Phoenix City. I love it. I'm passionate about it. I would say it's a heartbeat, part of my heartbeat, to be involved. I love the students. I love the teachers. Obviously, to be a substitute in the school system, you got to love something, right?
Yes.
So I've done that for many years, and I feel like I can bring something to the table.
Okay, and your platform is just feel like you can bring something to.
Well, yes,
something new.
dependable leadership.
Okay.
I believe that's something. And accountability is part of I guess part of my vision, part of my goal, and relationship building. I don't think I have to have a slogan. A slogan is something that is never changing, and I think that you have to adapt to whatever the circumstances are and make the wisest decision in that circumstance. And sometimes it's challenging to do those things. So I don't necessarily have a slogan or saying that is where I stand and what it's going to be. I'm who I am. I'm who I am.
Okay, great, awesome. All right, now, what experience do you bring to the board that would benefit the students of Phoenix City School District?
Well, I think leadership is one thing. To pastor a church, and to lead people is a calling. And I think that for me, I've been involved. I've got plenty of relationships with teachers. I've plenty of relationships with students. I've been there. I've been in the battle with them, and I've watched them work. I've watched them learn. I've got a good relationship with the current board, some of the current board members that are on there. I've got a good relationship with some of the city council members.
Okay.
So for me, what I can bring to the table, I think, is a voice of the people. I've met people where they are. I've walked alongside them. I've walked beside them. And through that, one of the things I've learned is you don't walk in front of somebody. You don't walk behind somebody. You walk with them. Okay. And it's ever changing. Culture's ever changing. Life's ever changing. And I think that for me, I can bring to the table a voice of the people that's willing to listen to some of the concerns, not always being able to follow through with some of those concerns, because that just doesn't happen, but hearing people, meeting them where they are, listening to them, walking with them. I believe that's what I can bring to the table, that I think in the decisions that the board has the opportunity to make and the roundtable discussions that they get to talk about, I think I look through that lens.
Okay. That's great. That's great. That's exactly what we need. So now, how do you expect to build relationships within the community?
Well, the good thing is a lot of my relationships are grounded. I was born and raised in Phoenix City, 40 years old. So my dad worked with the fire department here. He's a barber. I have grew up in the school system. I worked at a Boys and Girls Club, and those kids that were in that Boys and Girls Club are now adults, and they remember me. I've been a part of the football program there, so a lot of those students know me. My church is in District 2. We did a lot of community outreach with the virus and everything that has happened. We've passed out meals with the school system. So a lot of people know my face. That I've met and I've crossed paths with. I've listened to their stories. I've heard them. They know me. I'm hoping I can build off that. That there's trust and faith in what they've seen, not necessarily just my words, because a lot of times words can be shallow. And I think that just by watching my actions over the past, I wouldn't say months, but since the coronavirus, I would say, but since I've been involved with all of this, they've been able to see what I'm about more than what they've heard I'm about.
Okay. Now, do you plan on being visible in all of the schools? I know you'd say you do some substituting.
Yes. So I've been involved a lot, obviously, with Central, with substituting in football program. At one time, I was a para-pro at Ridgecrest, so I've been over there. I also worked with FCA, and through FCA, I've been, again, a lot of times at Ridgecrest. I've been some at Lakewood. I've been present at a lot of schools, not all of them. That is a fault. I haven't been to all of them, but I've worked in many of them. So I'm hoping, yes, to be present in all schools. All the schools have needs. And different needs. In order to know just what I've said, to hear the people and to see the people, I've got to be there. As a board member, you're not involved in the day-to-day activities. But I think it's encouraging and comforting to know that you have a team of people that are supporting you, that want to know what's going on. If I'm making a decision for the school, or helping to make a decision for the school, how can I make that decision if I've never walked into that building? You can only lead somebody as far as you yourself have gone. And if I've never walked in that place, how can I make an adequate decision for them? So yes, to answer that question simply, my goal is to be present.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for coming in this morning. We've enjoyed talking to you, and we look forward to seeing you on that board and doing some great things for our children here in
Yes,
Phoenix
ma'am.
City.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
You're so welcome. Thank you. And our next candidate is here. Would you please state your name, the position, and the district you're a candidate for, please?
Steve Franklin. I'm running in District 2, Place 1 for the
Okay.
Board of Education.
Okay. Now tell us why you chose to run for this position and your platform as a candidate.
Well, I've always been interested in education. I taught as a substitute for 2 years. I thought that school where I graduated from on South Railroad Street.
Okay.
I really enjoyed it. And I've always had an interest there. I never got appointed to it. I've asked many times to be appointed to it, you know, but they're a little afraid to get me on there. I kind of want to change the curriculum of what we teach, how we teach. I don't care too much for it. The NEA sit down this curriculum. Our school boards never pick the curriculum. They always take the one the NEA hands down to them. And the reason I know that, I've asked them before, why are we doing it? And I've talked to the NEA before, and they said, we just highly recommend them. We don't force them to take it, but they take our, because they can't write one.
Okay.
I want to get in and change that.
Okay. Okay. And what is your platform that you're running on as a candidate?
Well, it's not really a platform. I just want to make a change in how we teach our kids. You know,
Okay.
especially the history part of it. History has been so distorted about how we teach our kids. I've always said the biggest promoter of racial hatred in our country is our educational system, because they don't teach true history.
Okay. Okay. Well, awesome. So what experience do you bring to the board that you think the students would benefit from here in the school district?
Well, I can only go back to when I was teaching. I bring up the real history, and the kids really took to it. I had to literally make them leave to get on the school bus, because they did not want to. They said the parents would come out and pick them up. I taught them things right here where they live at, our local history. They've never been taught that. A lot of things that where they walk, where they play, they see every day. And I think the interest that I have in changing the curriculum, things that I've studied, and the pains and agony I've gone through trying to drag some of the truth out of the state school board, and they finally told me that they had nothing to do with local school boards. They were mostly autonomous boards, you know, because they were appointed. They wasn't paid. And I think that's been our problem the whole time. Not that the people who served on it were bad people. They were really good people. They were just based on the fact that they took a curriculum that was sent out by the NEA, which is a socialist organization. And we know that we used to teach social science, social studies. It's kind of like you go back and say, well, you can't see the forest for the trees. Well, socialism was facing them the whole time. That's what's wrong with our educational system, and I want to see if I can help make a change by working with the other 6 people.
Okay.
We want to work together. We don't want to pull against each other.
So your focus is really the curriculum,
Right.
making a better curriculum for the
Right.
students.
Because they need to really learn.
Okay.
A lot of them now, 7th, 8th, they can't even read. You know, they took away the other primary readers that really were repetitive in the words, that helped them to read, to recognize the words. You know, they took all that away. So a lot of kids have a hard time reading.
Yeah.
And I know when I was there, they had a hard time reading. You know, really had to help them out reading in class. And of course, you don't want to call on kids that can't read and embarrass them. You know, so
Yes.
it really made me start thinking. You know, we need to go back from the first and start over, and teach these kids how to read in the 1st grade.
Yes. Yes.
So the curriculum is very important. It's kind of like having a rifle in the army. If you ain't got no rifles, you don't have an army. You know. You know.
That's true. That's true. So now, how do you expect to build relationships in the community?
What do you mean with the parents?
With everyone, pulling the community
right.
together.
Well, I know a lot of parents have a lot of problems in the schools, and they can't seem to get them solved. Like I remember one parent went before the school board, and he was asking a question, and he said, "I demand to know an answer." Now I come down here, and they said, "We don't have to answer your questions." You know, so parents are really not getting. They feel like it's a enemy of them. You know, they can't get anything done with the kids, and the kids are always wrong. You know, the kids are always wrong, and it's just a problem that I think that working between the administration, teachers, parents, to fill that gap. I'll make the parents welcome at the schools. Don't tell them you can't go down there. You know, that's what they do. They don't want you going across the campus. But I have to back up and say that a lot of times these school shootings has created that barrier, because they're trying to protect the kids in the schools. You know, because you may have somebody on there that's just a plain nut and go start shooting people. You just don't ever know nowadays.
That's true.
The other problem I see that we're going to have to face as a school board, if I'm elected, is are they going back to school, or are they going to stay at home? You know, a lot of parents, both parents work. They can't leave the kids at home by themselves, so they got to send them to school, and they really don't want to. So I look at it, the ones that can make it to school, you know, we got to figure out a safe way of teaching them. The ones that can stay at home and do it all on the computer like they've been doing, I think is a safer way. That's just one of the things we have to get together and decide on.
Okay. So do you plan on going out into the schools and visiting and seeing what the needs are out there?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because I know you said that you substituted some, so you are kind of familiar with the
I enjoy it. I
schools.
really enjoy teaching it. It's a lot of fun for me. Especially if you know what you're talking about when you walk in.
Yes. If you're comfortable, then you make the students comfortable as well.
And I was very confident in what I was teaching. I think that's the reason they liked it. You know,
Yeah, it's always good when you have someone that enjoys what they do, especially with history, because you know some people can make it so dull by just giving notes or whatever.
Right. That's when I grew this right here, because a lot of times they say, you know, I grew this and I look like the era I was teaching. You know, and that's the reason I do this. For the kids, that's when I grew this for the kids.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for coming in. Those are all of the questions that we have.
Well,
we've enjoyed talking to you.
I wish we could make it last longer, but I know we got on time limit.
But we look forward to seeing you on the board. With us.
I can make it on there.
Would you state your name, the position and district you're running for, you're a candidate for?
Yes. My name is James Elliott Patrick, and I'm running for school board, and I'll be running in District 2, Place 1.
Okay, great. Now tell us why you chose to run for this position and your platform as a candidate.
Well, you know, I chose to run because I want to use my experiences as a parent, as a former teacher, as a soldier and a businessman to assist Phoenix City Schools become the premier school district in the state. And basically with that, the best way to do that is to get a seat at the table with those that govern the school district. And I want to represent the community and their concerns for the educational opportunities that are in the Phoenix City School District. My platform is, like I said before, I want to make Phoenix City Schools the premier school district in the state. And in order to do that, we need to improve our academics, our athletics, and then also life. Because a lot of people focus on the academics, a lot of people focus on the athletics, but everybody's cup of tea, so to speak, is not academics or athletics, but everybody needs to achieve in life. So I'd say that's my platform.
Oh, okay. All right. So what experience do you bring to the board and that would benefit our students in Phoenix City District?
Well, first, I used to be a teacher. I've taught at all levels. I've taught at elementary all the way up to high school. So I know education very well. Besides that, I also have worked in the community with my church, with my fraternity, and also my father and I have a foundation called Patrick Youth Development Foundation. Okay. So in those three organizations, I've worked in the community, and so that's given me that foundation to assist and to guide the superintendent of Phoenix City Schools. And also, I happen to be a colonel in the United States military, which has taught me a lot about leadership, organization, and planning, and things of that nature.
Oh, okay. All right, so now, how did you expect to build relationships within the community?
Well, that's probably the most important question that you asked. You know, with the school board being appointed before, you know, they obviously served and represented their district, but now that we're elected, you know, you even feel more of an obligation to serve with the communities. And the best way right now, you know, I'd love to have town hall meetings and things of that nature, but with COVID-19, I think the best thing to do is to have some Zoom meetings. I think everybody's pretty familiar with Zoom now that we've been in COVID-19 since March. But right now, the best thing to do is to do those Zoom meetings, and then as things loosen up and the restrictions loosen up, we can have some town hall meetings, and then just going to the events. I think that's very important, like going to the athletic events, going to concerts for the band, the chorus, and things of that nature. That gives you an opportunity to talk to the parents in person, so that you can hear their concerns, and that way you can get a feel for what they want, where they want the school district to go.
Okay, and what about visiting schools?
Visiting the schools, you said?
Yes.
Oh, definitely. I've already done that, as far as visiting the schools is concerned. I have a son that just graduated from Central, so obviously I was up there to support him and whatever he did. But not only that, I've always made it a habit to be involved in the community, and I've always gone up to Central High School for different events. And then I'm married to Tamisha Ramsey Patrick, and I've attended her with several events at the different schools, from the elementary actually all the way up to the high school. So, going to the PTA meetings and things of that nature, however that's going to look this year, is very important. So if it's a Zoom, then I'll obviously be on those Zoom meetings, and then just go to some of those PTA meetings and things like that. That's very important.
Okay, great, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for coming in,
no
we
problem.
look forward to seeing you out in the community, and good luck to you on your candidacy, and we look forward to seeing you in one of those seats. Okay, and we're here again with another candidate. Could you state your name, the position, and the district that you're a candidate for?
Name is KeAnthony Brooks. District is District 2, Seat 2, Phoenix City Board of Education.
Okay. Now tell us why you chose to run for this position and your platform as a candidate.
I chose to run for this position because I feel like that we need a group of people who may not necessarily be used to the particular schools in this area. I come from a background of, my mom has a PhD. My sister is working on her PhD. Of course, I'm working on my doctorate of ministry and education. So I chose to run because I feel like that I'm able to help and bring new and fresh ideas to this area, to this community.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, what platform are you? Do you have a slogan, or you have?
Well, I'm just using building relationships on our kids' side.
Okay.
So that's my last name. So I'm just using that, building relationships on our kids' side. That's the platform that we're using. It's not about us, but it's more about the kids and their success.
Okay. And you have children here in the school district?
No, not yet. I have toddlers.
Oh, okay.
But I know a lot of children
Yes.
in this area.
Okay, great. So now, speaking of children, what experience do you bring to the board that would benefit the students of the Phoenix City School District?
As a former educator, one that taught at Tennessee State University in the media, one that created several civic groups in the community in which I live, Nashville, Tennessee, being a product of YCAP, Upward Bound, and several other civic programs, community programs. I feel like that with those particular experiences and things that I've seen, and different people I've talked to with different backgrounds and experiences, that I think that bringing that to this area and helping with our children, some who may have single parent homes, some who may have both parents in the home, some who may be raised by their grandmothers. I've seen this in all different aspects of children's lives, and we have used those type of circumstances and situations to help make them better, make them successful. And so with that being said, I kind of bring those experiences there. Also, with me being a product of the public housing back in Nashville, Tennessee, Preston Taylor Homes, there were several opportunities presented to me where I was able to not necessarily be a product of the streets, but a product of the community, to say that if I made it out, then other kids could make it out. So try to bring those life experiences there.
Okay, so while the life experiences are similar, to Phoenix City. You bring a new perspective being from somewhere else.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
That's a good thing. It's always good to have new, fresh ideas that we haven't thought about here.
Yes, ma'am.
That'd be great. So now, how do you expect to build relationships within this city? I see you've been very busy in Nashville and other cities that you've lived in.
Well, I know a lot of people in this city, a lot of connects and relationships with people that have children who've either graduated high school or are matriculated in the Phoenix City schooling system. I have friends who also teach in various positions in this particular school system. So with those type of things, I feel like that if you have someone on the outside that may not necessarily be connected to anyone on the inside, then it gives a different viewpoint of someone that may have some objectivity to what is going on, a fresh set of eyes, as one would say, or a different type of outlook on a situation that others may feel one way or the other. More like a neutral type of voice to look at the bigger picture and all of it.
Okay, that's wonderful. Well, we look forward to seeing you on the board and the input and all that you will have for us, for as far as us growing with our school. Do you have any particular goals that you have for on the board?
Well, I want to be sure that all children have the same opportunities for growth and success. Particularly that we don't want any child left behind. We want everybody to have the same opportunities for growth and structure and stability. And so if we could give those key components of growth, structure, and stability, then no child would have a reason not to be successful if we give them all the tools in their hand and teach them how to use the tools to gain the knowledge that they need to grow as a student, as a person, to eventually effect change in this community and this city.
Oh, wonderful. Well, thank you so much. We're so glad that you could come in and join us today, and we enjoyed interviewing, and we look forward to working with you as a board member.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, and we're ready for our next candidate. State your name, the position, and district that you're running for.
I am Katrina Collier-Long. I am seeking the school board District 3, Place 1 position for the Phoenix City Board of Education.
Okay, wonderful. Now tell us why you chose to run for this position and your platform as a candidate.
I am currently a proud assistant principal at an elementary school. I am a mother of a son who attends Phoenix City Intermediate School. I am the mother of a daughter who is a Central High School graduate, and I am a Central High School graduate as well. I am a lifelong South Phoenix City District 3 resident. I matriculated through the Phoenix City schools, and it has always been my plight for children, my platform for children, and I've dedicated myself to lifelong learning. So this opportunity allows me to give back and be a part of something that is bigger than all of us, making sure that we're taking care of all of our children because they are the most vulnerable part of our population, and to make sure that we have things in place that support them, especially students in District 3.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. And your platform?
So I am Katrina Collier-Long. What I want you to know is my knowledge base. I am knowledgeable in education. I have over 13 years of experience as a classroom teacher and administrator combined. Prior to that, I started out as the secretary right here at Ridgecrest Elementary School. Okay. So I've worked in every area of education, literally. And I know the importance of the support for support professionals, the importance of support for our teachers and staff, and the support for our administrators. And I think that is the population that's sometimes overlooked because we've always been that steadfast pillar in the community. But we've got to remember the people that we stand on and the backbones of it and how they're detrimental to the success of our students. I am accountable because what I expect, I inspect, that is what I live for, and I want to make sure that our children are priority. Every decision needs to be made in the best interest of our children. And last, I'm transparent. We need to make sure that we're communicating in our community and that everyone is aware and have the knowledge and information to make informed decisions. That's all I ask. So that we provide the information so that we can make informed decisions.
Okay, awesome, awesome. So now, what experience do you bring to the board that would benefit the students of Phoenix City School District?
Like I said before, I have worked as an elementary school secretary, bookkeeper. I taught special education in middle school. I am currently elementary school principal. I have served as a middle school assistant principal. I am a parent. And like everyone else, I am working through this virtual change to homeschool and work with the school district with my own child. And this is new to us all. So we have to remember to offer grace and remember that we've got to ensure that our children are safe, because that's the first priority. Our faculty, staff, and administrators are safe, and that we continue learning.
Okay. And what do you expect to, how do you expect to build relationships within the community?
As a community member, I want to be sure that, one, I have an open door so that I'm easily contacted. I have an open email. I share my cell phone number. I'm easy to contact, because as a board member, you are the representative for your stakeholders. So you would need all of the information to be able to make informed decisions that would benefit and be in the best interest of all of our children. I definitely would be in the schools, because you cannot make decisions unless you're there to see exactly what's going on firsthand and know the population of which the principals and the teachers are having to work, and knowing the climate and the culture of each school, and having an open door and open communication piece for parents as well as the administration, faculty, and staff.
Well, wonderful. And it's been a pleasure talking to you, and we look forward to seeing you on our board, our historically new board, elected board, and so as a member.
Thank
so
you.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, and welcome. Would you state your name, the position and district you're a candidate for?
Okay, hi, I am Likitca Thomas-Ligon. I'm running for Phoenix City School Board, District 3, Place 1.
Okay. Wonderful. Now tell us why you chose to run for this position and what your platform is.
So I ran for this position, well, I'm running for this position because I am a true advocate for people. I love to serve. And so I wanted to be in a better position to serve everyone, students, parents, faculty, and staff, and just to help build on our already great community.
Oh, that's wonderful. Now, what's that platform that you What's that slogan that you have?
My slogan is Level Up with Likitca. So I'm a true leader. I believe in equality. I'm a visionary. I strive for excellence. I listen. And I believe in unity and professionalism.
Okay, wonderful. That's awesome. We see you around all the time, so we know that you are a level up person.
Yes.
Okay, now what experiences do you bring to the board, or will you bring to the board for our students here at Phoenix City School District?
So some of my traits, of course, is I'm a good-hearted person. I listen with my ears and my heart. I've also been in other leadership roles that I'm able to advocate for people that are in need, and I try to also be in those roles as helping people move the mark, so to say. I'm a team player. I communicate very well. So those are some of my traits, so to say, to help.
Okay. And how do you expect to build relationships within the community? You know, it takes the whole community, the parents, the teachers, the students, everyone, even our other stakeholders. How you expect to build those relationships?
So I expect to build those relationships by, one, having open forums, making sure that I'm accessible to everyone. You know, I know my role, I will know my role, and make sure that we educate everyone to let them know what the roles are. Being very transparent. But I think being accessible and being transparent and able to work with people, that will be how I'm able to build those relationships.
Okay, wonderful. And how about the visibility in the schools? Do you plan on going out into the schools for different occasions?
Yes, I mean, even at not in serving in that role, I'm always visible in certain schools that I'm invited to, and when the opportunity opens itself, I'm always willing and am there. So, yeah.
Well, wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for coming, and we appreciate you, and we look forward to seeing you on that board, doing great things for us here in Phenix City.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
Okay, thank you. And we're here with another candidate. Could you state your name and the position and district you're a candidate for?
Okay, my name is Yolanda Daniel, and I'm running for the Phenix City Board of Education, District 3, Place 2.
Okay, great. So now tell us why you chose to run for this position and your platform as a candidate.
Okay. Well, when I first was approached about this position, because I never thought about politics, I always tell people I had to take it to the Lord in prayer first. And so I had to do that to see if this is something that He wanted me to do. And once it was confirmed that this was something, I felt like my platform would be to advocate for kids. I've been an advocate for my 2 sons. They went through the Phenix City school system. I've been an advocate for my nieces, my nephews. My background is in social services, so I've advocated for children my entire life. So I just felt what better way than to give back to my city than to advocate for the students of Phenix City School District.
Excellent. And your platform, you got a slogan?
Yeah, I'm committed to act for you. That's ACT. Okay. I'm committed to advocate, collaborate, and to be transparent. And so that's what I felt were the things that we needed as a schools board, someone to represent, to act on behalf of all students, to act on behalf of the teachers, to act on behalf of the community. And so what better way than to advocate for them, collaborate, and be transparent. So when I say advocate, one of the things, like I say, to make sure that they have the tools and the resources that are needed, and that's just not the students, but that's also the educators, the teachers, and that support staff. Advocating, I want to advocate to make sure that I learn the rules, the policy that the school board that are governed by, so that I can hold us accountable. And when I say us, I mean myself, the superintendent, and the board members. So we have to have accountability. So that's part of acting for the school system as well. To collaborate, collaboration is key because you can't do it alone. So we have to have collaboration. And what better way than to collaborate with the community and your stakeholders. So when I say collaborate, I mean like we need to talk to each other to understand the issues and concerns so that we can be able to address those issues and concerns. So you must collaborate. There's an old proverb that say that the children, we have to raise those children. It takes everyone to raise a child. My concept is team. So we have to be a team. And I say together, we must educate and elevate all minds as a team. So that's my concept for a team. And being transparent, transparency goes a long way. We want to know and be informed of how we're spending the dollars for the school. What's the physical health of the school system? How are we making decisions on hiring different educators or employees of the school system? What are the rules that we feel that are best for the students? So we have to be transparent. That goes a long way when they know that they're in it together. So it's a combination to act, advocate, collaborate, and be transparent.
Okay, that's awesome. That's great. So now, what are some experiences that you could bring to the board that would benefit the students here in the school district?
Okay. First of all, I'm a product of the Phenix City school system. My 2 sons, as I stated, and my husband, but I've been in Phenix City all my life. My background is 26 years of social services, and that's being with the health of the family and children services. You know, so we have to make sure that we have the family at the forefront, the children at the forefront, and my experiences in making sure that the policies for the state offices, so I work for now the government, and like I stated, I have 26 years of experience with social services, and one of my my main job is to make sure that states administer policy and regulations. And as the school board, you have to make sure that those, the superintendent, everyone is following the policy of the what governs school boards. So I think my background in policy and knowing what it takes to develop policy and to enforce, and more like a compliance officer to make sure that we're following what needs to be done. I think that experience will come in hand to make sure that we're doing what we need to do for the students.
Okay. And another candidate mentioned that sometimes people feel, I guess, intimidated about coming before the board, or they feel like they don't have a voice, the parents, you know, employees and those. So as far as an advocate, how do you think you can work to bring the community together so that everyone can be comfortable with working with the board?
I think that we first need to communicate to the community what is the process. How do you go about addressing the board? What are the steps? You know, that's the background. You follow protocol. What is the protocol? Where do you go first? What's your first mode of action? If you don't get a response, then where you go next? You know, so that's what I say about accessible. That's part of collaborating with the community, to be accessible to them, to know that, so that they can know the process. I think it's a key to know. If you don't know, then you don't do what needs to be done. So I really want them to communicate with the community. But I think protocol, they need to know how to follow protocol and what's the next step and mode of action if you don't get, you know, what you need on that level.
Okay. And what about visibility in the schools?
For as a school board member?
School board member.
Well, visibility, I think that one of the things, you still have to follow protocol, be available if you're needed, and to make sure that they know that you are accessible to them. But at the same time, we need to make sure that the schools, the principals are making sure, and that's the superintendent's job, they're going to make sure that the function of the school runs. But as a school board member, I do plan on being there and being available as needed.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Well, thank you for having me.
Enjoyed your interview, and we wish you good luck on the board, as we look forward to seeing you as one of our historically new elected school board members.
And I look forward to serving the community.
Okay. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We hope that you've truly enjoyed this opportunity to listen to the candidates, to learn about them. Again, we want to remind you that voter registration is important, voter mobilization, and actually getting out to vote. Voting will take place August 25th for the municipal election and November 3rd for the general election. Please vote your choice. Go vote. Thank you.